Sairam. Am I audible? Sairam.
Yes, yes.
Om Shri Sairam. Invoking divine blessings today, we gather for the sixth session of Pran Sakha Sai. Let us commence this satsang by chanting Omkar and Sai Gayatri. Sairam. ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः Sai Om Shri Sai Ram. For today's Pran Sakha Sai session 6, we are honored to have with us Mrs. Soena Sethi, an alumnus of SSS IHL. Formerly known to us as Ms. Soena Bhasin from 1989 batch, sister had began her educational journey with Swami's blessings in the primary school in 10th standard. She continued her studies at Anandpur from 1984 to 1989, where she pursued intermediate and completed her BCom. Endowed with the talents in dancing, singing, and skating, Sister had the privilege of showcasing her skills before Swami and also leading the Anandpur campus during the March past for sports meet 2 consecutive years. Prior to her marriage, Sister worked for a period with ITC Agricultural Business Division. Embracing her role as a naval officer's wife, she dedicated herself to various organizational roles and served as the president of NWWA, which stands for Naval Wives Welfare Association in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Additionally, she also volunteered for Sri Sathya Sai Vidya Vahini in Delhi and phone your friend. Presently, she holds the esteemed position of teaching Rudram and serves as the spiritual coordinator for the Gurgaon district of Sri Satyasai Seva organization in Delhi NCR. Her journey stands as a testament for her unwavering dedication to service and spirituality. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to Mrs. Soina Sethi as our esteemed speaker for today's Pran Sakha Sai session. Sairam, over to you, sister.
तुम हो अनाथ नाथ भगवान, ओ साई मेरे प्राण सखा भगवान। मात पिता गुरु बंधु तुम हो, भक्त सखा भगवान, दीन सखा भगवान, भगवान भगवान, प्राण सखा भगवान, ओ साई मेरे प्राण सखा भगवान। Loving pranams at the lotus feet of our beloved Sai Ma, and a loving Sairam to all of you. Thank you for this opportunity to relive the blessed moments of my life with Bhagwan, who is always there, loving, guiding, guarding, and directing each moment of our lives. I was blessed to be born into a religious family. My father was in the army and used to keep getting transferred from one place to the other. This was back in the 70s. My father was posted early 70s. My father was posted to Sikandrabad, and my mother, uh, a religious person and a talented lady, used to love singing and used to take classical music lessons. In fact, later she did her MA in classical music um, from Delhi University. But at that time, since my father was in a transferable job, wherever she got the opportunity, she would love to learn to sing. And so it so happened that there was Nandu Bhai who used to come home and teach my mother to sing. I mean, they would practice daily together. At that particular time, as in the army, my father had to undergo various courses. There's a continuous training that goes on along with your career. So at every stage in life, you have to have some or the other course that would be done. So my father was studying, and mother used to keep busy with us three children. I have two older brothers. I was the youngest, and she would keep busy with us and with her singing and other. She was a talented, like I said, she used to paint. She was a talented lady. So one of these days, Nandu Bhai and came home, and it was one of those days when they just mama's mood just wouldn't set into singing, and just it was not settling into the whole mood. It was just not happening. So Nandu Bhai said, "Chalo, chodo, like leave it. Let's go and have a pan." So in those old days, we all trooped into the car, and my father took us all, and we all went, like Nandu Bhai, all of us. We all went to have pan. Now, while we were going there, uh, the car near Sikandrabad Club, I think, it just stalled. Now, my father was a engineer by profession, and so you know, usual how men are with machines and all. He opened the bonnet. He tried everything, starter, carburetor, everything. He kept trying. What was wrong? What was wrong? But he could not find out what it was. And so, just across the road, there was a temple there. So while he was tinkering with the car, he said, "Why do you all want to stand on the road? There's a temple. Why don't you go across? And, I'll see what is wrong with the car and I'll join you." Because he thought, because his profession was, he was an electrical mechanical engineer in the Navy. Sorry, in the Army. I'm sorry, my husband's in the Navy, so it's a divided thing. So, anyways, when he started tinkering with the car and finding out what's the problem, and we went into the mandir. After some time, my father could not make out what was the problem, tried everything, just wouldn't start. So he kind of got exasperated, and he also walked into the mandir. Now, this mandir was Shirdi Baba's mandir, right? So, like, though we come from a Sikh family, since we've been brought up in such a way that all faiths are the same for us. So, we went, we all were there in the temple, and my father also came and paid his obeisance and, did everything, sat for 2, 3 minutes. And then we all trooped out, and he said, "I don't know what's wrong with the car." And it happened to be a Thursday. I must make it a point that it was a Thursday when this happened. And he wouldn't understand. So he said, "I don't know what is the problem. Just let's go again." And without thinking, he just started the car, and the car just started. And there was just no problem. For half an hour, 45 minutes, he had tried his best to kind of start the car and everything. And that time, nothing happened. But the moment we went to the temple, came out, and the car started. So after that, every Thursday, if my parents could, if they were free, they would go and we would go to the temple, that temple, because they felt I was small. They felt it was something, something very nice. So, and they got peace also. So they went there. And that's how this happened. And now, like I was saying, my father was studying. So um, we were staying in flats in Senikpuri. And the uncle who used to stay on the ground floor, they were renting the flat, my parents, through the army. And the uncle who used to stay below was a Colonel Dagar who had retired and whose daughters were my mother's age. So he used to treat mom like his daughter. So he came up one day and he told my mom and my dad that, there's this Sathya Sai Baba. He's come to like um, Sikandrabad. Why don't you come Hyderabad? Why don't you come? We'll go and have darshan. So in those that particular period, my father was having his exams, so he had to study. So he told my mom, "Why don't you go?" My mom was in a fix because sadhu, mahatma, they were not like not used to it, and she was like, "I won't go like this. How can I go without you? I don't want to go." So my father said, "Listen, you're just getting bored sitting at home. Uncle is saying, why don't you just go and see? If he asks you for something and you feel like giving it, give it. Otherwise, say no. Just go and see what is there." So Mama went. And she went and she saw Swami from far away. But she was impressed by two things. Like I said, she was a music lover. The bhajans really hit her and she really, really enjoyed them. And the discipline. These two things really, really impressed her. And she felt that he was great. Like there's something about him. And that was it. After that, my father got transferred to a place called Yol Camp, which is near Dharamsala in Himachal Pradesh. And while they were going on transfer, Uncle Daga came and gave two photographs of Swami and Shirdi Baba to my mom. And so my mom took it and she kept it in the puja room. When we went to Yol, she kept it in the puja room. And like she used to read the Guru Granth Sahib and everything and do her puja. And so in the puja room, these photographs were also there, and she would show the dhoop every day, and that was it. Like that was the only connection. After that, my father got transferred to a place called Mau. Mau is a small station near Indore in Madhya Pradesh. So while there, we still hadn't got accommodation, and we were staying in temporary accommodation allotted to us. So when you're in a temporary accommodation, you're in the mess. You don't have to cook food, nothing like the you eat in the mess and everything. And my parents used to go for walks in the evening. So once they were just we had just shifted and they were just walking and they heard some bhajans coming from somewhere. So both my father and mother were music lovers, and they were, that attracted them. The bhajan, the music attracted them, and they walked in. And lo and behold, it was Swami's bhajans happening in the town hall in Mau. So Mama liked it. So she was sitting there and singing. She was following. She was enjoying the music. She, like I said, she used to sing. So she was singing, and it happened like that. Then, while after a few days, we got our accommodation and we shifted to the Mall Road in Mau. And suddenly, early one morning, a lady came in the tanga. In those days, tanga is a horse cart, right? So Mau, like I said, was a small place, so there was not no means of commuting like that. Those days there were no autos or taxis or anything like that. So she came by tanga, and she alighted, and Mama was a little surprised. Who's this lady? And so she came to my mom and said, "Ma'am, please, can I request you something?" So I'm Mrs. Sood. I I saw you in the town hall for bhajans, and I heard you singing. So this is a tape recorder, And I mean, this is a tape of bhajans. I would like you to learn a few bhajans and please sing. So my mother was quite surprised. She said, of course. And she took the cassette and she kept it. In the meantime, like my mother, like I said, she used to sing. So the Gyani ji, who's the a Gyani ji is a person who is the priest of the Gurudwara. So there was a Gurudwara near our house. So the priest from the Gurudwara, the Gyani ji, used to come home and used to learn Shabads. That is like bhajans in our Shabads are like bhajans in Gurmukhi. So he used to come and learn Shabads from my mother, and he used to go and sing them on All India Radio Indore, right? So along with him, a Muslim tabla player used to come, and the three of them used to practice in the mornings when we were in school and my dad was in the office. So singing like that one day, singing a Shabad which goes like आज मोरे आए हैं आज मोरे आए हैं सुपन चरित्र मित्र बालक बने बचित्र सुपन चरित्र मित्र आज मोरे आए हैं आज मोरे आए हैं. Now the translation goes like the true Guru has come to me himself, so holy and capable of making others pious. The friendly Guru has come to my house in my dream, beautifully attired and adored. It is indeed a wonderful marvel for me. And so it goes on expressing the splendor of God and the beauty of God and how He has come to me. So the whole thing, they sang this Shabad for at least an hour and a half. And it was like, Aaj more aaye hain. And they kept singing and singing and singing. And at the end of it, they all were in tears. And when she finished, the Gyaniji told her that Bibaji, ma'am, today I feel as if, really felt as if the walls just broke open and God was standing right in front of us. Even the Muslim tabla player said the same thing. He was also in tears. The Gyaniji was in tears. Mom was in tears. And I mean, they had just got swayed, and it was just that. And suddenly, my mom's eyes went to the clock, and she realized it was dad's time to come home for lunch. And dad, being a typical army officer, had his timings fixed and stuff. Oh, like everything had to be. And my mother got worried because she hadn't gone to the kitchen to see. Finally, had the maid done everything? Our maid that time was called Ram Rati Bai. And Ram Rati Bai was a very slow worker. And though she was good in her job, but she would take her time. So mom had to kind of, coordinate and see that everything was laid on the table and all. So she got very worried. So she went to the back. And the maid told her, now, this is a typical British bungalow we were staying in, which had, those old British bungalows with a huge garden in front and a huge back garden, and with a cookhouse at the back and the servant quarters at the back and things like that. So, and the kitchen was a little elevated, and then the steps went down to the backyard. So the Ramrati Bai told my mom, Mem Sabji, koi aaya hai. Ma'am, ma'am, somebody's come. So my mother was already getting very hassled because it was time for dad to come and lunch. And so she said, kaun hai, kaun hai? She said, koi aaya hai. And she went out and she saw a old gentleman dressed up like Shirdi Baba with a kafni, with a choga and a jhola, looking just like Shirdi Baba. And he was standing there below the stairs. So my mother asked him, मैं आपकी क्या सेवा कर सकती हूँ? Says, what can I do for you? So he said, एक glass पानी देना, माँ. He used the word ma. He said, give me a glass of water, ma. My mother was a little surprised. Ki, why is he calling me ma? Like, he's older to me and he's calling me ma. So she was a little surprised. So the, uh, the pot of water was right there. The ghada, that is a water pot was right there. So she told the maid ki, एक glass पानी दो. So the maid took out the water and in front of mother and she gave it to the Baba. Baba took it in his hand and he took it in his hand and then he said, Aap lo ma, you take ma. So my mother was surprised. He wants water. Why is he giving it to me? Why is he calling me ma? So she was like a little, so she told the maid, you take, tum lo. So the maid took and she said, oh, मेम साहब ये तो बहुत मीठा है ये तो शहद के जैसे मीठा है. So my mother, that means it is sweet like honey. So my mother also, she also had, and she said it was really like nectar. So without thinking, she poured out and she kept a little bit for us. And she said, मैं आपकी क्या सेवा कर सकती हूँ? So he said, he took out Swami's photograph from his jhola, the bag he had with him. And he said, आप इनमें मानती हैं? Do you believe in him? So my mother said, जो उनका रास्ता दिखाता है, मैं उनका आदर करती हूँ. The one who shows the path to the God, I always respect him. So he said, आप इनका दर्शन के लिए जल्दी जाओगे माँ. Again that word माँ. So my mother just bowed her head. And like I said, at the back of her mind, it was, Dad is going to come, my husband's going to come, lunch. So she said, she bowed to him and she went in to get some money to give to the Baba. By the time she came back, he had left. So, like I said, our house was, a typical British bungalow. So you had the entry from one side into the garden, and then you exited from the other side. So it was like a round garden, and so in the meantime, my father came, and he saw this Baba going out of the gate while he was entering. So he stopped when he came in. He didn't come inside; he was still in the porch. And my mother went and he said, who was that man who had come? There was some sadhu. So my mother narrated that this happened. I was so surprised this happened. And so my father, he said, Arey, why didn't you make him sit in the drawing room? My mother was like, how can I make anyone and everyone come and sit in the drawing room? So he said, okay, wait, let me go and I will go and call him. So he took his vehicle and immediately, so this would have taken hardly 2-3 minutes by the time she narrated everything. And he took the vehicle and he went. It was a straight road, and my dad went all on both the sides, but he could not find that Baba again. He never saw him again. They searched and searched, but my father could not find him. So that was it. Then after that, one of my father's course mates, they just met and they were talking. So he said, my wife is going to put up Puttaparthi. So my father says, oh, take Sati, my mother, take her along. Like, my mother was called, her short name for her pet name was Sati. So why don't you take Sati along? So Mama was quite zapped because I am a daughter who's born after 7 generations. I was the girl who survived in the family. And before me, all the daughters that were born in all the generations, they never survived. So my grandmother had told my mother, my dadi, that is my father's mother, had told my mother very categorically that you better take care of her. You know, she's precious and like. So my mother was, and as it is, I was the youngest and I was always pampered. So she was worried. She said, "How can I leave Soena and go just like that?" You know. So my father said, "Hello, if you are the mother, I am the father. Can't I take care?" So my mother was a little skeptical, going alone. Like okay. So finally, it was decided that Mehta auntie, later uncle went on to become a general, and Mrs. Mehta auntie, and mother tickets were booked. Now, once the tickets were booked, I got high fever just before she was supposed to leave. 2 days before she was supposed to leave, I got very high fever. So my mom was like, I am not leaving. Am I clear, audible to all of you? There's
So,
some dis.
Vasavi, I think you need to mute yourself. Vasavi, you need to mute yourself.
I'm sorry. So, anyway, so my mom said that, I'm not going to leave her and go. She's got fever, and how can I leave her and go like that? So my father said, okay, we'll do one thing. If by evening her fever does not come down, you cancel your ticket, you don't go, right? And so this happened, and in the evening, I get up from my sleep because I was given medicine. I had slept off. I get up from my sleep and I tell my parents that Sathya Sai Baba, no, he came in my dreams, and I remember that dream so vividly. He was blessing me and saying, "Why fear when I am here?" And my fever was gone. I was absolutely hale and hearty, swinging away in we had a banyan tree outside, and on those branches, I was swinging away, and I was absolutely fine. I told my parents, and I was absolutely fit and fine. So my mom didn't have an excuse now. She had to go. So then she left Mau and went to Puttaparthi for the first time with auntie. And the very day they reached, Swami called them for an interview, and he took her inside, and he blessed her, and he was very happy with her and everything, and materialized a locket for her and gave her. And my mother had lost her father, some time back, and he, you know, did the same gesture like her father used to, bless her like this, and so Swami also did. She just felt that it was her father there, and so she was very thrilled, and she loved the whole, you know, atmosphere. And then she got to see Shivaratri, and Swami manifested a lingam, and so she saw all that. So she was very fascinated. She enjoyed herself. And the bhajans, of course, like I said, they were her heart. So she really enjoyed it. And that time, Vijaya Didi and all used to sing bhajans in the mandir. So she was very happy. And she had two, three wishes. Like she wanted to meet all of Swami's siblings and stuff. So she met the sisters. By then, Ishwarama had already joined Swami. So this was in 1976 that she went for the first time in February. And then, like this, so she had to now get back to Mau. So she had to go and find out about the bus from where, how the bus will go to Dharmavaram and how she will go further. So, like she said, like I said, she met the sisters, but she didn't get a chance to see the brother. So she was in the back of the mind. I wish I could see who Swami's brother is and all that. So she went to the bus stop to find out, and everything was in Telugu. So she didn't know. So she saw a gentleman reading a newspaper over there. So she, asked him and said, that person gave her all the information and all that. And she just moved off from there. And suddenly someone just came and said, "Oh, you know whom you were talking to? Someone who doesn't know my mother, nothing. Do you know whom you were talking to?" So my mother says, "Who?" Says, "Oh, that was Swami's brother." So, in these small, small things, Swami was right there, listening. He's always listening. He's always there for us, telling us that I am there, I am there, and he's listening. And in for a silliest whims and fancies, he kind of just just looks after us and just says, "Okay, chal ye bhi le le, like take this." Okay, so that was it. My mother had never traveled alone, so auntie was staying back, and my mom was coming back on her own to Mao. Now, Mao was such a small station that only the trains used to come at like around 2:30 in the morning. The trains used to pass that particular station. So my mother was a little scared because she had never traveled on her own. And anyways, she went, sat in the train, did everything. And when it was, she requested the TT also that please, I'll be sleeping. If you could wake me up. He said, yeah, yeah. But she says exactly just before she was supposed to get down in Mao, she heard as if an alarm clock was ringing right in her ear. And she got up, and it was just in time to get down in Mao. And she got down. So, this was her trip to Paddi for the first time. And then she came and she told my father and all of us, and we all were excited. So, we all then in the summer holidays, all of us in June 76 went to Patti. I still remember I was a small girl of 8 and sitting in the sands and playing in the sand and generally just sitting, and we were in the first line just sitting there, and I was lost in drawing something in the sand. Mama was doing her part, and suddenly there were some people were just but and suddenly I looked up and Swami was walking directly to us. And first thing he did was he told us to go in, and then he again called us and blessed all of us and spoke to each one of us. And by then all of us were like we all were he had won us all over. And so that was how we first came to Swami. And after that, we were there for some time. Now, like I said, my mother used to love bhajans. But when we reached there, like she told my father, "Oh, you know bhajans, I will Vidya and this and that," because we didn't know what are the rules and all that. So what happened was at that particular time, the mandir was getting renovated and the bhajans were suspended. There were no bhajans happening at that time. So, you know what our dear Swami did? He told Vijayadi, you go to their room. We were in West 2 or 2B something, I still remember. So the bhajans used to come, Vijaya Didi used to come to our room and we used to have bhajans, and Ma got a chance to learn bhajans directly from Vijaya Didi. And of course, they had a beautiful bond. But this is how our Lord is, always, listening to us and, pandering to our small, small wishes. Then it was my 24th of June. Swami was my brother's birthday, eldest brother's birthday. And he was just joining college. He was already in college, I think. We have a 10-year gap, so he was much older to me. So everyone said, "Oh, it's your birthday. You do one thing. You take Swami's photo, and Swami will come. You get up and he'll sign it. He'll bless you. He will sign it and he'll bless, and so you will get your blessings for your birthday." So my brother said, "Okay." But as luck could have it, that particular day, Swami, in the morning, there was no darshan. Darshan happened in Ishwarama High School, where Swami was unveiling Ishwarama's bust in the roundabout there. So they went there. And so from far off, Swami was inaugurating. So from far off, my brother had darshan and he did this. And Swami, while going, did give him gave him abhayasta and went. So when we came back, then my parents said, "Are you didn't get blessings." So my brother said, "No, no, Swami blessed me. He blessed me." So they said, "No, no, in the evening again you sit with the photograph, and Swami will come and bless." And all. So my brother said, "Okay." He was listening to the elder people. But as luck would have it, they got a line somewhere in the eighth or ninth row. And when Swami came, people stood up. In those days, there was no, matlab, the discipline was there, but not so much. Like people used to get up and stand up. So Swami parted those people, and my brother was sitting on his knees, with the photograph. And Swami did this to him and said, "Are, Baba has blessed you already. Swami has blessed you." So, reinforcing that he is there, he knows what is happening, he knows each and every incident, he knows he's omnipresent, omniscient, and he blessed and he went. And then my brother came and said, "See, you all don't believe. I told you he blessed." And so it was a big lesson for all of us. And then we came back, and of course, life was going on. And then by then, my parents were doing bhajans, and I mean, my mother used to sing bhajans, and I used to, we all used to go and attend bhajans and all that stuff. So after one of these trips to Parthi, one day, my mother, we all ladies have this crazy thing about putting everything, stuffing everything into our purses, right? So one day my dad asked her for something which was in her purse, and she kept digging into it, digging into it. My dad used to call it a jadoo ka pitara. That is like a magician's, bag where you will find everything except what you want. So she couldn't find it. She kept digging, digging, digging. She couldn't find, and she was standing in the porch, and the car was right there. So in frustration, she just emptied her purse upside down. And when she did that, some stone rolled out. So she just put her hand out. And it was a white stone like a diamond, and it fell into her hand. And she saw Swami there. She was so surprised, like, and anywhere she turned, like she would roll it, she would see Swami there. So what she did was she got that stone put in a ring, and she used to wear it in her forefinger. So I still remember very clearly. One evening, we all were, I mean, it was tea time, and we were sitting in the garden, and my mother was making tea, and we were generally eating something. And she was stirring the sugar in the teacup, and the forefinger, she used to wear it on her right forefinger, and suddenly she called all of us, "Come here, come here, come here quickly." Said, "Do you all see anything?" And so each of us saw, and we saw Shirdi Baba sitting there in his posture, and our Sai Baba, Sathya Sai, walking and coming and standing next to him. And all of us saw it so clearly in that little gem there. So these were small things that, our Sai used to show and give us. Now, coming to Ramrati Bai, the maid that we had at home, my mother, she was not having, her daughter had a problem in conceiving, and every time she conceived, she had an abortion, or she had some problem that she could not have kids. And my mother tried many a time to, you know, tell Ramrati. She used to tell Ramrati, you please leave my work. It's difficult for me to cope. You leave my work." And Ramrati Bai would never leave work. Mama tried many times, but it didn't happen. And then ultimately, my mother gave it up. And after some time, Ramrati Bai's daughter had an issue, and she was blessed with a child. After this, when my father got transferred out from Mau, like I said, the train used to come, late in the night, like somewhere early morning, like 2:30 in the morning. So all the luggage had gone, everything had gone, and we all were sitting in the veranda. And Ramrati Bai came to my mother and said, "Nim साहब, आपसे एक बात बोलना है. Madam, I want to tell you one thing." So Mama said, "हाँ, बोलो Ramrati." Like my mother really loved her and looked after her, but you know, she was just exasperated by her slow working. So she said, "हाँ, बोलो Ramrati." She said, "आपने मुझे कितनी बारी निकालने का कोशिश किया?" So my mother said, "Yes." "पर मैंने आपका काम नहीं छोड़ा. You tried to, you know, chucked me out so many times from my work, but I never left your work. So she said, yes. She said, आपको वो बाबा याद है? वो जो आए थे उस टाइम? तो मैंने said, yes. कहता है उन्होंने मुझे एक चीज बोला था. उस दिन मुझे एक चीज बोला था. He told me one thing that day. So she said, क्या बोला था? He said, ये साईं की फेरी है. इस मेम साहब का काम मत छोड़ना. तुम्हें मेवा मिलेगा. That means this is Sai's rounds. Don't leave this lady's work. Continue working for her. You will get lot of blessings. And मेम साहब मेरे बेटी का बच्चा हुआ ना, उन्होंने मुझे बोला मेम साहब को मत बताना, तो मैंने आपको नहीं बताया. And you see, I was blessed. My daughter had a child, right? He told me not to tell, but I am telling you now, as you are leaving. He told me ये साईं की फेरी है. So that it was confirmed that Swami had come in that form to our house that time. After that, we used to be regular. We used to keep going to Parthi and growing up, growing up. And then somewhere in 83, we went to Parthi again. Like we used to go every year, of course. And in 83, we were there, and I suddenly had this thinking that I want to join the school. Actually, and in okay, before that, it was my parents' anniversary. He called us all in, and he blessed us. He gave my parents, he blessed my parents and everything, and he said, he told me that you join the school. So, and at that time, taking admission in 10th standard, you know. So, but he said no. And then he called Muni auntie and all and told them that you take. So they took me in the school. And before I joined the school, so like it was their anniversary, like 16th June, and he called us for an interview. And that time he said, he told my mom, मैं तुम्हारे लिए साड़ी भेजेगा, तो वो साड़ी पहन के आओ, Swami will bless you. So my mother said, okay. So through Colonel Jogarao, no, through Kutumbarao Garu, I don't remember now, but he sent a sari, a beautiful white sari with lovely border, a thick border of different colors, a very unique sari, a beautiful silk sari. And so she wore it the next day, but women being women, she got late, getting ready, extra special, she wanted to dress up, got late. By then, Darshan lines had all gone in and we could not enter. And we were sitting outside the boundary wall, where now Yajur Mandir is that side behind the patients. And we were sitting outside the boundary wall, mom and me. So our dear Swami comes behind the patients, behind their chairs, across the border, across the boundary wall, and is asking mom, "Sari acha laga? You like the sari? Sari pasand aaya?" This was our Swami. This was, I mean, what can I say? He, he I mean, just like in one of the interviews, he asked my mother, "तुम्हारा नाम क्या है? What is your name?" So she said, Sat Mandir. Her name was Sat Mandir. She was actually Sathya before marriage, but my grandmother had made her change her name, and so it was Sat Mandir. So then Swami sat and he explained to everyone in the interview room that what it meant. It is the temple of truth, the temple of God. My, I am there in your hearts. I am with you all. Sat Mandir. Truth is me. I am God. I am in you. Satya ka Mandir. So, like that, he really blessed all of us, and he was always with us. Then I joined the school. Now, when I was small, my mom had got my ears pierced, but that guy had, made a mistake, and one was up and one was down. So she had closed my, she didn't put any earrings in my earlobes. And just that time, my mom said, "You asked Swami too um, for, you know, piercing your ears." I said, "Yeah." I also never had earrings. I said, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, very good." So then she said, "No, no, tell him to pierce your nose also." I said, "No, no, I don't want all that." And so I'm just bringing this point to show how he listens to each and everything. Okay. So in the interview, I asked Swami, Swami, कान छेदना है. हाँ हाँ मैं तुम्हारा कान छेदेगा, तुम्हारा नाक भी छेदेगा. And I just said कान for my ears. Can you please pierce my ears? He said yes, yes. And from the back, my mom kept prodding me to ask for my nose. I was not listening. I didn't want it. I was very conscious of my nose. And I said no. And then Swami himself says, तुम्हारा नाक भी करेगा, तुम्हारा नाक भी छेदेगा. I'll pierce your nose also. And I was like totally taken aback. So again, showing that I'm listening, I'm there, I'm with you all. I am listening to each and everything. And after a few days, he called and he did my ears. He pierced my ears. He materialized the wires, and he put them and he pierced my ears. And then to ask, to show everybody, he's asking me, dard hua? Did it pain? I said no. Then he's saying, see, Swami karega, nahi pain hoga. Like if I do nothing, it won't pain. And it actually didn't pain. And then again, Mama from back, Nak. So I said, Nak, hey, बहुत बोलता, because he knew I didn't want it. He said, hey, keep quiet. So that was how he pierced my ears. And then I joined the school. There, I was very homesick after some time. I was, like I said, I was the youngest, I was the pampered one, and I used to really cry a lot. But at the same time, I used to enjoy. I mean, have Swami, enjoy myself and have Swami with us. And Swami would give us a lot of attention. We used to get a lot of, when we used to go for darshans, and he used to come to school, and I had very long and thick, heavy hair. And since I'd never stayed away, and I didn't know how to take care, and Muni auntie would take me specially, wash my hair, dry them. Like I warden auntie, kitchen auntie, the amount of love that they gave us, and they looked after us. I just hope to emulate, and I just don't know. It was another experience to be there and be with the sisters and brothers. It was another experience. So that was it. And then after 10th, we didn't have 11th and 12th in the school that time. So we had to go to Anantapur. So we came home, and my parents had, I think my mom also missed me, and they saw how I was. I was also homesick and all quite often. So they decided, between them, they had decided that they're not sending me back. So, but the love for Swami, I would ask my mom. My mom would tell me, go to dad. I would ask dad. He would say, ask your mom. If she says yes, okay. So it was always a tussle, continuous tussle going on. But somehow I won. And, at that particular time, there was some strike or something, and the inter classes started late. But we went, and thankfully we got admission. And we were a few of us who stayed on in the hostel before classes started. And I joined Anantapur. And of course, it was a totally different experience there. I went into a room, there were good seniors, but only one or two could speak English. The others were all speaking Telugu. But Swami had, the love, the experience, the teachers, the love that we got was so, so beautiful. that just never felt the need. And then, of course, we made friends, and Jaima madam, Pushpa ma'am, they all used to tell us how when we used to do chapati rolling, that you're expanding your hearts. So feel that. So we used to, we were that age is so impressionable, and we were so in Swami, and then so we while rolling, we used to be singing bhajans, and we used to think that our hearts, you're like expanding your hearts, cutting vegetables, you're cutting your ego. This is what Gemma Madam and all used to tell us. So we kind of, learned that when you're cleaning your rooms, taking out the cobwebs from your heart, opening your heart, cleaning yourself, shining yourself. These are all lessons that we learned. We did so much of gardening. Our batch, I remember we used to be we had this coconut grove which we kind of with Pushpa ma'am we all used to take buckets of water, and we used to stand in a line and first of all planting them and then watering them and bringing it up. Of course, now I heard there is no coconut garden where we had planted it, but we did all that. We used to do a lot of gardening, and so we really enjoyed ourselves. And in the meantime, we were doing other different duties. Like I was a breakfast in charge, and whenever the sick in charges were not there, we used to go and take temperature and small small things, whatever we could do. Um, oh, okay, only 20 minutes. Okay, thank you. So this is how we managed, and we really enjoyed ourselves. Then the thrill of having Swami coming, excitement. Uh, when we used to come to know he's coming, everything, night, day, all of us used to get together, something or the other. We are, Kiran ma'am is training us for some Kavali, or we are, Dharma ma'am, like I got this opportunity to perform like Swami sitting there and we dancing. And so, with Swami, it was totally a different affair. So college happened and was happening. One particular time, my mother, in the meantime, had started falling ill quite a bit, and she had developed something like her nose used to constantly run, and her nose had. She was a very pretty lady, but her nose had become quite thick, and it used to constantly water. So Swami used to keep calling them whenever he called us for interviews. He would tell, "हाँ मैं तुम्हारे का देखता है नाक में. You have a problem with your nose." They'll say something. It's nothing. It's allergy. Don't worry. Swami will take care. Swami will take care. They will say, "Do operation. Don't do operation." Swami will. This continued for a good 12, 14 years. Every time Swami called us, every time he called them, he would tell this to my mother. एंड ऑपरेशन नहीं कराना. स्वामी कहता है स्वामी ठीक करेगा, स्वामी ठीक करेगा, आई विल मेक यू ओके, डोंट सो दिस कंटिन्यू. So in fact, in the middle, my mother went to the States. My brother was there in the US. He's still there in the US. He's a doctor there, and he was very keen to show my mom what is the problem and all. So they took her to the doctors there, and they did various tests, and they were surprised how this person is alive. They said the kind of problem she has in her nose. We are we are surprised she's able to breathe and she's able to do her daily tasks and everything. So it was all Swami. And they said we'll have to operate. But my mom till the end did not care. That was her faith in her Swami. She never, but Swami looked after her throughout. So like this, one time I was in Parthi. I don't know. I think there were some few holidays, and my father happened to be in Parthi, and so I was also in Parthi while still in college. And darshan was over, and I was sitting again near the wall, the boundary wall. Uh, towards the stupa, that side only. Like our students, we used to sit there only. So sitting there, everyone had gone. Interviews were over, so there was a time between the interview and the bhajan. Like that was the time people used to go and have a breakfast or something. But I was sitting there only, and I was crying and fighting with Swami. Then generally, because I was worried about my mother, that why is she like this? Why can't you take care? You keep saying you will make her all right. Why aren't you making her all right? And just having my own conversation with him and, you know, crying. And suddenly I looked up, and then my dad was standing in the veranda and he was calling me. I mean, interviews were over. There was no, but Swami had come out and he called my dad and he told him to call me and called me, took me inside, and immediately created so much vibhuti and he gave me. He put it here and he said, Swami is there. Swami hai. Swami theek karta. Swami will take care. Quickly materialized a pendant for me and gave it to me. And when you see the pendant also, this uh, I've got two of them, but this particular one was the one he gave at that particular time. If you see, it is not round. It is a little as if he didn't even have that much time to make it. You know, he was so concerned. He just looked down like that look that he gave me just like directly into my soul, telling me that I am there, I am looking after you. And he has been with us always. That the love, yes, that was it. And he really blessed and everything, and he said, I will take care. Now, I also got the opportunity while still in college to go to Kodai because my father was going like when Swami used to be there in the summer for 2 years, 87 and 88, I think. I did go to Kodai. And at that time, there was not much rush. So every time, like I think me and Srilata from Avan, Srilata Ramkumar, one batch junior, we were together once. And once I was alone. So I used to sit, since we were students, used to get the position to sit right in front, just near the path. And I used to sit and I used to visualize Swami coming and, while waiting for him, I used to visualize him coming and standing there and giving namaskar and blessing. And you won't believe it, every day, morning, evening, he came and he gave me namaskar and he blessed me. Because whatever I was visualizing, he was doing that. Now, it so happened after darshan, uh, my father, he was in the Seva Dal. I don't know if old timers would remember one tall Sardarji standing there with the Seva Dal scarf at the gents gate towards the East Prashanti gate, and that was my dad. So he used to do Seva there, and he had this opportunity to stay back when we went Kodai also. He used to stay back when Swami used to be with the students and all. We used to be there, like he used to be there. So now, I being the only girl there at that time, uh, I, we were told not to be in front of boys and brothers, and we should not be seen, and Anantpur and girls, and so I was hiding. One of those days, I was hiding behind the bus. There was the institute bus, and so I was standing behind the institute bus and seeing what is going on. Okay, and there Swami was mingling with the boys, and I was like, "Ah, I wish I was a boy. I would have had the opportunity to be there. Where I am just because I'm a girl, I'm Anantapur, I have to stay behind, Then crib. Crib was always there, right? So I was cribbing. And Swami, he called my dad and he took a photograph with him. He gave them vibhuti, and I was like, oh my God. And suddenly, what do I see? Swami is calling me from there, from behind the bus. Yes, he knew I was there. Like I said, he knows everything. He called me from behind the bus, called me, gave me vibhuti, gave me namaskar, and again. खुश है, like, are you happy? So yes, these were the small small things that happened, and then it came down. Now Swami had his own this thing. He used to always tease me. He get married, always behind my life. You have to get married, and I was never keen. I said no, no, no. He said नहीं. He used to tell मैं लड़का देखेगा, मैं शादी करेगा. He used to always tell, and then so it so happened that when the time came, unknown to me, my parents had seen some boys, and they asked Swami. Swami said, "No, you get photographs," and they got the photographs. And all this was unknown to me. Of course, I was totally totally blind to all this. I didn't know. And between Swami and them in the interviews, whatever was happening, I don't know. And then one fine day, I was told that we have to go to Delhi, and there's this. So before that, Swami had my father had come and seen a boy in Delhi who was in the Navy, and he had met them and he had gone back. And then he had shown the photographs, and then Swami called for the interview much later, after a few months. And Swami said, "Show me the photographs." And he said, "Ye Navy wala, this Navy boy, he's good. Get her married to this boy." So my father was in a fix because a few months had happened, and that my husband, I mean, this boy's parents and everybody, they were already looking out for many matches, and they had seen a few girls. So my father was like, I don't know now if that boy is still unmarried or no. So he came back and he called them, and they said, yeah, yeah, he still isn't married. So he said, please, can you just, see our daughter and all that stuff. And so they come back from Parthi, and I am taken to Delhi, and I was told that Swami has chosen this boy. And so it happened. Now, like every girl is worried, what will happen in the future, what kind of a boy, and always Swami, you are there, we are attached to you. We don't want to go far away from you. We have to be with you. And that was always the worry. And being from a Sikh family, some Sikhs are a little fanatic at times. At least in those days, they used to be. So I was worried, and so when we met for the first time and all, everything happened. And so when we met again, I told him like, I want to tell you something that I believe in Sathya Sai Baba. And he says, oh, I just read a book by him by Howard Muffet, and there's no problem. He's a great man, and that was it. So Swami had already, paved the way, and everything was so smooth. And then Swami then later said, "No, you get her married there, and you bring her, and I'll bless them." Then after marriage, we went there, and there was some function going on at that particular time, and Swami came, and you know, came and he blessed and everything, gave vibhuti and everything. But I was so lost in taking namaskar and everything. And after I got up, he had moved a few steps ahead. Again, he turned back and he had been talking to me, but I didn't strike me. He says, "Are you happy? Are you happy?" Four times, three, four times he asked me, and I said yes. And then he went to the gents' side, he blessed my husband, gave him namaskar, gave him the duty. I mean, and yes, it was blessed that way. And my husband may not go for bhajans and all, but yes, he's like, yeah, he is there. And he has no problems. He promotes me to do whatever like, he never stopped me or anything like that. And once in Bombay, when my husband, like I said, he was in the Navy. So again, defense. So he was posted in Bombay. We were in Bombay, but I had gone somewhere for something, and Swami came to Bombay. And out of his own, this thing, my husband had to catch a flight to Delhi that particular day when Swami had come to Bombay. And he went to have darshan. He thought on the way to the airport, he will have Swami's darshan and he will go. So he went there on time. But that particular day, Swami didn't come for quite some time. 1 hour passed, 1.5 hours passed. And then my husband realized that he had to go, otherwise, he wouldn't be able to catch the flight. So he was just contemplating this, and suddenly, out of nowhere, a gentleman comes to him and said, "Abhi 5 minute wait karo, abhi aa raha hai, abhi Swami aa raha hai." And he moved off. And within 5 minutes, Swami came. It was as if Swami came and told him that, wait, I am coming for your darshan. I will give you darshan. And so he had Swami's darshan and he went. Like this, life has been going on. I think I am running short of time. So Swami has always been with us, even for my son. When we had to get him admitted into a hostel, I wasn't keen, as all mothers know, no mother wants to send their children away. But due to, after seeing a lot of things, my husband and me decided that we have to put our son in the 11th in a hostel. And I wasn't very keen, but because I knew how things were, it would be better that we were in Delhi and commuting, and we were in Gurgaon commuting, and the whole day would just go in commuting, and he would waste his whole day. So for his betterment, we thought, okay, so we put him in a hostel, and we went for admissions. So I wasn't keen, and my husband went into the office, and then he comes out and he says, just go into the office. And I went in, and there Swami was sitting, bless. There was a photograph of his, with the Abhyasta blessing, as if to say that, don't worry, I'm right here. So after that, I just left it to him and just put him there. And these are small, small instances where he's always been with us, guiding and guarding, looking after each of us. I have felt him always around, and he takes care of everything. It might it might be the most mundane thing, but he's always there, guiding and loving and showing his presence always. 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 So we just have to remember he is with us. Just have a conversation with him. Just talk to him. And he is there. He is listening. He is our Pran Sakha. He is totally our Pran Sakha. एक तेरा साथ एक तेरा साथ हमको दो जहां से प्यारा है एक तेरा साथ साई तेरा साथ साई तेरा साथ हमको दो जहां से प्यारा है तू है तो हर सहारा है ना मिले संसार ना मिले संसार तेरा प्यार तो हमारा है तू है तो हर सहारा है एक तेरा साथ एक तेरा साथ हमको दो जहां से प्यारा है तू है तो हर सहारा है एक तेरा साथ साईं तेरा साथ जय साई राम
Om Shri Sai Ram. On behalf of everyone present here, I thank Mrs. Soena Sethi for sharing her memories with Sai in today's Pran Sakha session. Sister, it was a great feeling to revisit Swami's blessings and experience his omnipresence. It is always a guiding light for every one of us, and it has always been a great blessing to experience Swami. We express our sincere thanks to you, and may we have more sessions to share more of your experiences. Thank you. We'll end the session with Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Sai Ram. Om Shanti 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 Samastalokaah Sukhino Bhavantu Samastalokaah Sukhino Bhavantu Samastalokaah Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की
जय
जय।